I'm Chuck Norris. I love bringing bad guys to justice, but law enforcement can't stop the bad guys if they don't know who they are.
We're the Armed Attorneys. Today we have special guest appearance by Attorney Leslie Cross. We're talking about how Chuck Norris is being used to, stop the next school shooter, potentially. We're talking about how the state has a new See Something, Say Something program that's being targeted towards teachers and students, what their website looks like, kind of our feedback on the website, whether this is a good idea in the first place, and a pretty, funny client story, or what I think is a funny client story for this kind of scenario. But before we begin, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting that like button.
That's why I wanted to tell you about iWatch, a website, phone app, and service that allows Texans to report suspicious activity, whether it's criminal acts, terror threats, or someone wanting to harm children. If you see something, say something, and help keep communities in the great state of Texas safe.
Well, 82-year-old Chuck Norris, can you believe he's 82 years old?
I cannot believe he's 82 years old. He looks very good for 82.
Yes, he's been tapped to help with the Texas iWatch program. And what is that, Leslie?
So basically what it is, it's a website, and what they're asking is for either students or teachers or parents or really anyone in the public, if you hear something or you see something that you think might be a criminal act, to report it to this iWatch website in order for law enforcement to be able to come in and investigate and see what's going on. Their real focus, though, is on schools and protecting children and students. So if a kid sees something in a school, then they'll report it to iWatch and law enforcement can take over from there and investigating.
Yeah, and we checked out the iWatch website, and I will say, if their intention is to have children potentially use this thing, it is not user-friendly. And I think there's a laudable goal here. Obviously, we don't want people committing acts of violence, but this thing is not particularly user-friendly, and if you're a student or maybe even a young student, I don't see them successfully navigating it. What do you think?
I agree with you. I don't think this is something that kids are going to be able to log on and easily report something. I think it'd be easier for a child to go to a teacher or a principal or someone in authority at a school to say, hey, I heard this from so-and-so, I'm concerned about this, or even go to their parent and have the parent report it. But a child themselves using this website, I don't think that's going to be successful.
And I know we disagree a little bit about this, but the iWatch program itself, I mean, that's what you see up in airports, and it's Texas's version of that. See something, say something. What do you think about it?
So obviously, I think if a child sees something in a school and they think that it could potentially be a threat, I think they should report that. I think that's something that a kid should say, hey, so-and-so told me that they were considering doing this to school, and I want to make a adult aware of that. So I can see where the benefit would be, but also, reporting your neighbor for leaving their trash out for too long, that could be an issue.
Yeah, that's where, my skepticism of these programs come in, because we all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and obviously we don't want folks getting hurt. We want to preserve life, and so I understand the goal being that, and, we want to try to achieve that. But, time tells us, it's just a matter of time before this thing gets abused. Just like we see with red flag laws across the United States. I can imagine that the iWatch system will be abused by, scorned exes, maybe neighbors,
Sure.
People seeking revenge. So, we do have to have a little bit of skepticism with it to make sure that it's not potentially abused. But we were talking about this, and you said you had kind of a funny client interaction with regard to, what do I do if I see something? What happened?
Yeah, so I actually had someone send me an email saying that they were at a gun show and they saw someone trying to sell a firearm in a private sale, and they believed that the firearm had been illegally modified. And their question was, what do they do in this situation? And, my advice to them would probably be walk away. There are a ton of ATF agents at gun shows, so they probably saw the same thing. But in that sort of situation, there's really nothing that a citizen can do to stop that crime from happening. That's not something that they're going to be able to handle on their own.
Yeah, so maybe everything doesn't need to be iWatched, but those most extreme circumstances, that's what the program is for, or at least, we hope that that's how it's used for. But we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video. And we always enjoy your questions and comments in the section below. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do y'all like Chuck Norris?
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
Thank you, Peter.
Let us know in the comment section below. And until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.